I'm glad to say the last 2 years is a segment of the economic cycle that I've never seen before, ever. And we're about ready to come out of it. And when we come out of it, I think it's going to be a pretty bullish boom of transactions and so forth. And that'll be all across private equity, including third and fourth quarter funds, if the economic policy does change.
I would say, you know, if you look structurally, right, investors continue to go into the space and continue to invest, and you almost end up with higher allocations. I think at some point you probably max out at some level, but that's continuing. And I think that just the duration of these investments, people are going to look for or seek liquidity against that. And that's really still nascent. I think that that's a still growing area. So you have folks that today maybe are looking for liquidity because the exits are delayed. But I also think that just generally speaking, as they make the investments, as they think about overall how they're managing their affairs, there's an opportunity to think about liquidity in a more holistic way, and I think that just continues on. So I do think while you have maybe some fits and starts and you have interest rates that will impact things, I think long term, this is an area that's going to continue to grow. People are continuing to seek liquidity against these assets in a variety of different ways.
And a couple of you now brought up and it's been mentioned a couple of times today, but the longer holding periods, the slower M&A market. You know, as we head into a new administration, it feels like there's a renewed optimism about the M&A market generally. You know, how do you guys both each see that impacting the secondary space? You know, how are LPs going to, if there are increased exits and distributions, you know, is the demand still going to be there, and where do you see the growth of the market going from there?
Yeah, so the market is just, as Brad was saying, like it's still pretty nascent, even at the size that it is. Most institutional investors today are still pretty well over allocated to alternative investments. So even if we get into a period of time where there's a more normalized exit environment, it's going to be several years before I think people still don't have some pressures to get liquidity.